Day 2 of the Champs rolls on this weekend, so we thought we'd better come back to Randwick, albeit a bit of a drizzly morning here for Trackwork today. 4 more Group 1s on the card: the Sydney Cup, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, the Queen of the Turf and the Oaks. We have all the latest from Trackwork. Sarge, a busy weekend for you ahead. Let's start with Wootton Lass, who you've got in the Percy Sykes. Of course, this filly by Wootton Bassett, she was a last start winner and she came up in the Sweet Embrace as well against the likes of Within the Law and Bella Zane. How's she been?
Yeah, I thought she was good enough first up to go in the Sweet Embrace, but the day got to her a bit and she didn't behave that well mentally more than physically, so gave her a week out, brought her back, and she won nicely at the Kensington last start. So I think she warrants a go at this race. It's black type, it's worth a lot of money, and she's done very well this week, and I'm very happy with her. You mentioned that you thought she'd be able to stand up with those good fillies. Have you always had an opinion of her? Yeah, she's always showed plenty. She'll go in with a lightweight, Jamie Mellum to ride. Nash has been riding, but obviously 54 he can't do. So hopefully if she gets a draw, she can be up on speed and out of trouble. Unique Ambition resumes in the Sapphire Stakes? Yeah, using this as a kick-off for her. She's got a lot of ability. She'll get back and just black type race. Hopefully she's running home to kick off a campaign. She might get some black type. Mary Diana, this 3-year-old filly by Preferment, has had a tick-over trial since her win on the Kenzo, so she's 1 from 1. She's in the South Pacific Classic. What do you make of her? Yeah, throwing her in the deep end here, but she's a lovely laid-back Preferment from New Zealand, won very impressively here at the Kensington track. Big step up, but lightweight, Molly Burke on board. She's got a great turn of foot, so if she can just get hidden away and get out late, I'm sure she'll finish it off well. Has she had her final piece of fast work this morning? No, she trialled last Friday, so she'll probably just do a bit of evens on Thursday coming up, and that'll do her. And then French Ruler in, I guess, another big one, the Provincial Midway Championships final. He won, of course, the wild card last start there. Fit, no query. How is he? No, he's great. He deserved that. He sort of jarred up a bit to start before at Newcastle when he tried to qualify then, but he was good and strong at Wyong. And look, he'll go into this race at his peak. Blakeston on board, who's riding very well. He'll get back midfield. There looks a lot of speed in the race and hopefully hit the line strongly. What are you thinking with Lady Pankhurst? She ran first up against Tempted, then second up was a nice run there at Wyong, and you've got her nommed for the Fernhill Mile. Are you thinking you might take her there? Might do. I see the noms are small. I've got to speak to Steve O'Connor, Sarone's manager, and I might put her in there. Big jump from 1,000 to 16, but she's out of a Mero-trained Thunder Lady. I know she'll get the trip, so we'll put her in late today, assess the field and see how she goes from there. Question without warning, you had a pretty expensive filly there at the Magic Millions Gold Coast yearling sales earlier in the year. Have you had her in work yet? Yeah, she came in for about 10 days from the breakers at Cornwall. Just had a look around, learnt to swim and work all the tracks out of the gates, and she's gone out now. She, one thing about her, we don't know her ability yet, but she's got a great attitude, so that helps. Pete, you've got a busy weekend ahead. Let's talk about Fearless. You did have him nommed for the Arrowfield, but you're leaning towards the South Pacific Classic. He trialled yesterday and he looked like he was working really well. Yeah, I thought his trial was great. Good first up run, a little bit fresh, hence the trial on Monday, just to take that little bit of edge off him, going to 1,400 metres, but he's going good, the horse. There's a good race in him, and certainly Hawkesbury Guineas is a race we've got our eyes set on. And then in the Sapphire Stakes, you do have Coco Jambu and Tashi. Are you thinking that you might accept with both of those? Coco Jambu coming out of the birthday card? Yeah, absolutely. Both fillies are going really well. Coco's run was great first up. Probably wants to touch further than I do well, but waiting to the Hawkesbury Crown is just a little bit too long to wait, so another run over in between will get her there, but she's in great order. Great first up run. Tashi, these set weight conditions suit her perfectly. Handicap, she gets too much weight. These set weight and conditions race, because she hasn't won a black type race, she gets in almost the limit, so in and up to her ears. And then Memo, she won the Magic Night and then you elected not to push on for the Slipper, but she's had a tick-over trial since and you do have her in for the Percy Sykes. She's just been such a great filly from day dot. She was there at those first 2-year-old trials. She was fantastic on the Gold Coast. She hasn't really ever put a foot wrong. She's had some luckless runs and she put it together there in the Magic Night. Yeah, good that she won the Magic Night. She finally got a good win. That was a maiden win, actually, so good to get a group race for your maiden. But you're right, she's been running good races and running well.
just thought that day that she did win. It was a pretty hard run for her. She came from a mile back. She missed the start and did a fair bit of work. It was a very, very hot day as well, and backing up to 7 days, I thought she didn't really need to do that, but this is an ideal race as this is this week for her. A Group 2, and if she could knock it over, she would have done a tremendous job.
Well, Michael, a relatively quiet weekend compared to what you've had the last few weeks. We'll talk about Enriched first in the arrow field. He has to come up against Autumn Glow again, who he ran second to last start. How's he been?
Yeah, really good. It was a good run the other day. We sort of halfway up the straight thought we might have had her, but obviously she's a very good filly. But no, he's trained on really well, put in a nice piece of work here this morning. So, looking forward to round 2 on Saturday.
Bring it on. And then Sylph, this is a filly I wanted to talk more to you about. You do have her, you had her in on Saturday and you elected to scratch and wait till Wednesday. She's had a couple of trials. The most recent I thought was fantastic. She's well bred. She's an I'm Invincible out of Noondi with some good names in the ownership. What do you make of her?
Yeah, really nice filly. She's come a long way in the last sort of 6 weeks, and she was a little bit probably timid around other horses, but she's certainly trained on well. I've been really happy with both her trials. We gave some thought to running Saturday here, but against experienced horses that have been to the races a few times, we just thought might be sort of asking a bit much. So she's down to go to Hawkesbury tomorrow and running the 2-year-old race there, and if she can run well, we hopefully might be able to press on to something else, be it Scone or Brisbane.
Right, Tom, let's talk about linebacker. I know, roll the eyes. I thought the same when I watched him and followed him through. It was a shame as soon as he sort of stepped slow, it was a bit tricky for him, wasn't it, there in the Donny?
Yeah, look, it was over pretty quickly. Probably one of the first horses to go in the gates, and whether he just got a bit sleepy in there. And anyway, just didn't execute and got back in a slowly run race and couldn't have done much more coming home. So it was a frustrating watch, but to take positives, we've obviously, we know we've got a horse that's going really well and he's going to be effective in the spring. We've been thinking about what we do with him in the short term. I'd say it's likely he will go to the paddock and sort of prepare a campaign towards Golden Eagle.
He's pulled up well, though. I got to sneak in and see him on Sunday morning. He looked particularly well within himself.
He's pulled up very well. I mean, he's ready to go again and run a big race somewhere. Sort of option of potentially running the Queen Elizabeth just probably isn't the right setup with those couple of mares that go very quick, and probably the wrong time to throw him into that. The option running the Frank Packer Plate, but I don't know whether that achieves too much in the big picture. So I think at this stage we'll go to the paddock. Athabaskan
backs up in the Sydney Cup. Looks to be right on track now after that run.
Yeah, it was a messy race in the Chairman's on Saturday. It was sort of a bit of a slowly run tempo and back and messy. But he hit the line well, for a horse who clearly wants a sort of staying test, which wasn't seen to best effect on the weekend. We're going to put the blinkers on for the Sydney Cup. It's the first time he's had them. He should relax beautifully, and hopefully that can bring about a bit of improvement. But as a whole, we think the horse is going really well, as we've seen in his runs previously. So he's a chance this weekend. Obviously, the dominant favourite who's going particularly well. But perhaps if we can maybe see a bit of a higher pressure Sydney Cup, it might allow the true stayers, which we feel we are, to get into it.
And then you've got Interjection as well in the South Pacific Classic, who will be third up into this, the son of Too Darn Hot.
Yeah, look, he's going okay. His run the other day was an improving run. Probably come out of that race really well, was what we were looking for. He's probably just a bit rusty. So it's an option to run this weekend. Probably needs to draw well to be an each way chance, but he's a horse that is going better than what he's been showing the last couple of runs.
And has Polymnia come through?
Polymnia has come through the run well. It was a great effort. It was couldn't falter, presented and let down, and just one was a bit stronger on the day. So all being well, she's going to head to Adelaide 3 weeks between runs for the South Australian Oaks. So that's the plan of attack.
Well, Adrian, I'm not going to keep you here for an hour this morning. We've just got a couple to talk about, the first of which is Al Kantz. She's just been a marvel all preparation. How is she out of Saturday?
Yeah, she's in excellent shape. Came out of the run really well, and she seems to be right on target. That's the program we sort of set for her all the way through, heading towards the Sydney Cup. And she's ticked all the boxes on the way through. She's going to appreciate getting out and trip. She's got the pedigree to suggest that, and she just looks, further she goes, the stronger she gets. She's in great order.
And she takes everything in her stride pretty easily. She's come through well. She'll have an easy week.
Yeah, interesting. You know, early days she was a filly that used to sort of take a little bit of time to get over her racing and her runs, and we had to space them early days when she first came down. But now she's had that little bit of time to acclimatise, and she's had the grounding. She's pulling up better each time we see her go around. So I think there's plenty of positive signs there.
Speaking of a horse who's a work in progress, that is Vauban, and I know how much work your team has put into taking him out to the races even before he saw him for that first up win. Has he just changed since he's been in the stable environment with you guys now? Has he started to settle? How have you seen him progress through the prep?
I thought we saw a really good positive improvement in his second up run at Rosehill. Obviously first time away and first time back at the races, a little bit fresh, got a little bit worked up. It was a hot day on that occasion. I thought he paraded much better last time round. Handled himself in the day really well. He's excellent in the run. He's lovely and relaxed and switched off and conserved himself really well. He sort of probably a little bit unlucky there last start. Phil probably just got a little bit further back than we anticipated in the run. Looking forward to getting him here to Randwick. He should relish a strong 2000. I'm not too concerned by that drop back in trip. He looks to have come out of the race really well. Still plenty of sharpness in his legs, and I think he'll really enjoy getting to Randwick here.
I understand you just jumped off the plane from Dubai this morning where you won the Derby, so you're bringing good form to Sydney.
Yes, definitely. I'm happy to be here. It's the first time for me in Sydney. Of course, I have a very good souvenir here in Australia, winning the Melbourne Cup in 2011 with Dunedin. So hopefully this weekend it will be again a good result for Russian Park and all the connection.
Well, Christophe, can you tell us a bit about Russian Park? We saw him at Del Mar. He was very good in the US Breeders' Cup turf, and can he bring that sort of form to Sydney? If he does, he's going to be hard to beat.
Yes, of course. His race in Del Mar was very good. The horse has shown on that occasion a very nice acceleration. Of course, it will be a different track, different conditions than last time in America. But he's a very consistent horse. I think he can adapt himself anywhere. He ran and won at Nakayama Racecourse, which is also right-handed course. The trip will suit him. 2,000 meters, I think it's a perfect trip for him. So we have to be very confident with him.
Short run to the first turn, you're drawn barrier 12. Where does he generally settle in his races?
He's not the quickest out of the gates, so usually he races in the middle of the pack. I think it will be the case again with this outside draw. So I'm quite happy with that outside draw because if he's got a big stride, he likes to have some space to accelerate. So I think from the middle of the pace coming on the outside, he will show what he can show his class.
And just finally, Christophe, what's your first impressions of Randwick, and also will you get a chance to walk the track before Saturday?
Yeah, we'll walk the track, of course. I haven't seen much of Royal Randwick yet, but I'm going to study a little bit.
Terrific. Welcome to Sydney, Christophe, and very best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much. Very excited and looking forward to Saturday.
Dubai Honour, we saw him in the Tancred last Tuesday week. Absolutely outstanding.
It was a really great performance from him. Lovely ride from Tom. Just so nice to get another group win on the board for him. He's a very special horse, and it's great to have him back down here.
Of course, he won this race 2 years ago when he was brilliant and he beat Animo that day. How do you get him back to 2,000 metres from that 2,400 metre run and have him at that sort of form that he was 2 years ago?
I mean, it's tricky, isn't it? You know, he's been running well over 1.5 miles for the last year, and then to bring him back down to 2,000 is no mean feat. But he's in really, really good form. He was pretty fresh going into Tuesday, and he's come bouncing out of the race, which hopefully will just leave us in the best possible position. I've obviously done a terrible job at the barrier draw, but oh well. You know, that's one of the things you can't control, that and the weather. But there is a bit of rain floating about as well, which should work in our favour.
What we've seen with Jubo, I know he handles the soft and firm ground. He's run some really good times. I remember in the Randwick a couple of years ago, he was brilliant. So at least in that regard, you don't have to worry too much about the track conditions for Saturday. He'll handle whatever gets turned up on Saturday. Yeah, definitely. I just sort of hope that, you know, a bit of cut in the ground might just blunt the speed of the others, which might give us more of a chance of coming back to the 2,000 metre trip. But, you know, he's a Group 1 performer at that 2,000 metre trip, so there's no reason that he shouldn't still perform at the top level. And just finally, the favourite is Via Cecina. She's been in awesome form this season. She's won 6 Group 1s. I dare say you saw a bit of her when she was racing in England and Ireland. She's obviously the main danger on Saturday, is he? Yeah, absolutely. And she's obviously drawn 1, which is sort of means we're miles apart, but that's okay. Yeah, she's just a phenomenal filly, and I think I said to someone the other day, it's such a credit to Chris Waller that she's still running as well as she is at 7 years old, which I think it's quite cool to have 2 7-year-olds going up against each other, and it just shows you that they are really, really versatile and how tough they can be, and if they still enjoy racing, then, you know, they can have seriously long, very profitable careers. Kieran McAvoy can just settle this mare wherever he's comfortable. Yes, definitely. She's had the benefit of the run over the 2 mile in the Melbourne Cup, and outstanding performance to run 4th. She probably hasn't had the traditional racing or lead-up races to run in a Sydney Cup, and but she did show a hinge of dourness in the last couple of runs. So hence the reason why James and the team have elected to go this way with her. And we know that she can run a good, strong 2 mile, and if there's a bit of rain around, that'll certainly suit her. But she's a very tough mare. And James doesn't mind doing the unusual, if I can put it that way. He did run this mare over 1,600 metres on Derby Day prior to the Melbourne Cup last spring, and as you said, Darren, she ran a blinder that day. She did. You know, she's just a very, very, like, she won her first 3 races, and any horse that can do that, you know that they're very genuine, and every time that she steps out on the racetrack, she puts in 100% effort, and it's great to have her, you know, for Godolphin to have a runner in the Sydney Cup. What about Tom Kitten? His form this autumn, I think, has been career best, and I know the form guide reads 7th in the Doncaster, but nothing went right for Tom that day, and coming to Randwick 2,000 metres, give him a bit of galloping room, watch out. Yes, he's probably, the gate 1 probably wasn't ideal for him for his pattern of racing and his style of racing. He likes a little bit of room, and I think probably a key factor with this horse is that he's on the quick backup, and that'll just take the edge off him to be able to relax. And he's a winner over the 2,000 here in the Spring Champion Stakes, and you know, he's been in stellar form all this preparation, so he's really primed to win this type of race. Just a quick update, if I could, Darren, on Broadsiding, who trialled yesterday, and I think James's plan is to run him in the All-Age Stakes Saturday week. He looked to trial really nicely yesterday. He did. The form around him outstanding, and he was there. He was had a bundle of energy yesterday morning at the trials, and yeah, he's really going to be primed for the race. He's such an exciting stallion. Oh, sorry, Colt. He certainly is. Best of luck on Saturday, Darren. Thank you.